If you can't read between the lines, the conclusion that one draws is that condoms are kind of gay.
If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left.
If it is false, then for the good of society and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely.
And that one statement, that one pretty gross, disgusting endorsement of eradicating transgender people did exactly what he was hoping it would do. It helped him with his show numbers. It led to a bunch of anger, people who are rightly upset that someone would call for that kind of violence against a group of people that is incredibly powerless and discriminated against in this country. And I would suspect, we don't know for sure, that a lot of the disgusting commentary that comes from people like him is due to the fact that they get rewarded for it. Michael Knowles was rewarded for what he said. And it came in the form of increased views on his show. And like, have you seen the guy? I mean, I'd rather sit through a 100-hour-long calculus class. But if he says something that's incredibly inflammatory, it'll get the attention.
Maybe you like condoms, maybe you don't like condoms. I don't know where you're gonna find that in the Constitution. I think a lot of people are beginning to notice that the contraceptive mentality is the beginning of the pride mentality, because the contraceptive mentality divorces sex from the consequences of sex. It introduces a sterile sexual ethic, which is exactly what gave us the pride movement. There's no distinction here. If you can't read between the lines, the conclusion that one draws is that condoms are kind of gay. To put it as bluntly as possible, okay? People are beginning to realize, okay, if I don't like this insane anarchistic view of sex that is totally self-centered and divorced from any ends whatsoever, well then maybe I gotta rewind it and ask, well, what is the point of sex? Just why it's not gonna be the patriarchy that's coming for your consequence-free birth control. It's not going to be the men. The men, frankly, are huge supporters of birth control and contraception because it allows them to have consequence-free sex. It's going to be those conservative women. That's who's coming for it.
He is saying the only sex that should be allowed, presumably, is for a purpose, the purpose of procreating and creating children. To which I say, you must be nuts.
You know,
the 1200s called, they'd like to have their opinion back.
Look.
So what you're seeing here is a political movement and a religious movement, and it's fulfilling religious and political goals of the left, but it isn't doing very much for science.
Chris, you had a visceral reaction to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're a grown man and you're attacking a child. Shame on you. She's trying to do what she thinks is right. And by the way, now relax, skinny boy. I got this, okay? You're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some cool.
I'm not. I'm attacking the left for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown up when you're talking about children. She's trying to save the planet because your president doesn't believe in climate change, and kids need to take to the streets to worry about their future. You are despicable for talking to her about her like that, and you should apologize on national television right now.
I think the international left and her parents who are exploiting a girl with many mental illnesses.
You called her mentally ill. Take it back now.
She is mentally ill.
Take it back now.
She is mentally ill. She has autism. She has obsessive compulsive disorder. She has selective mutism. She had depression.
You are despicable.
She's underage, she's a child, right? So I don't agree with attacking children, whether they're children who believe in right-wing ideology or left-wing ideology. I hated seeing anyone on social media go after Barron Trump after Donald Trump was elected. But here's the thing, while members of the left, and I'm specifically talking about public figures, while public figures on the left will draw this red line and say, do not attack children under any and all circumstances, that is not the case on the right. On the right, they don't care. They have absolutely no rules, no boundaries, and absolutely no respect for anyone, including the very children they claim to protect when they want to pass laws violating women's reproductive rights.